You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Good morning, everybody. This is Bob Gilligan of the Catholic Conference of Illinois, and thank you for joining our program here this morning. It is Monday, I think it's December 20th, a couple days before Christmas, and Merry Christmas to everybody, and thanks for taking some time to listen to our show. We have a very good lineup here this morning, and what I'd like to do is just kind of kick off the intro of the program, introducing some of the guests. Our first guest is Christopher Ross. He'll be talking about the situation going on across the globe and in the United States regarding the resettling of refugees. He works for Catholic Charities USA, those refugees from Afghanistan primarily. And then we're going to switch gears. We'll talk to Steve Jacobs. He is the program director for Illinois Right to Life, and he's going to be talking to us about the DOBBS decision, the U.S. Supreme Court hearing on December 2nd, I think it was, regarding the Roe v. Wade issue and abortion. And then we'll switch gears and talk to Kevin Grillo. He is the director of a group called We Dignify. There's a big rally, a big march going on in Chicago on January 8th, and we're going to talk to Kevin a little bit about that and make people aware of that event, and hopefully they can attend. It's a very uplifting event every year that happens in Chicago. And then finally, we'll talk to somebody at the Arch here. I think it's going to be Marguerite Zappa. She's going to talk a little bit about the scholarship tax credit and give people some suggestions about how to donate to that very worthy cause that sets up scholarships for middle and low-income families so they can attend a non-public school. So with the further ado, let's get right to our first guest this morning, and he is joining us from, I think, Washington, D.C., or the area of Washington, D.C. And I just realized this morning, Christopher, you have been with us before. Christopher Ross from Catholic Charities USA. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can. Nice to be with you again.
Yeah, thank you. You know, I don't know, sometimes we do things quickly, and I was just going through some old program notes, and there your name was. So you have been on before talking about a similar subject. So thank you for joining us again. Do you go by Christopher or Chris?
Either's fine. Christopher works.
I have a son named Christopher, so this is always a challenge. Christopher, thanks for taking some time join us this morning. So you're with Catholic Charities USA and have been there for some time. And I want to talk a little bit about the subject of resettling people from been involved with difficult situations across the globe, and some come here to the United States to help get resettled. And I know in the news recently, in particular, it's been about the Afghan refugees. Can you kind of give us an update on how are we doing? I saw a story in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend. It was kind of interesting, talking about some of those numbers of people who are here and beginning to get resettled. But it looks like we have a little bit of ways to go.
Yeah. So right now there are a number of Army bases that are housing Afghan arrivals who were evacuated out of Kabul, as we all saw in the news back in August. And so they are in safe haven communities. Our agencies are involved in providing services on those Army bases. We're also directly involved in the resettlement aspect. Once folks do leave the Army base and join their new communities, our agencies are part of the USCCB VOLAG network, and they do the resettlement work in the United States. They're one of 9 VOLAGs in the country.
And tell us CCUSA's role in all that.
Sure. So USCCB, as I mentioned, is the VOLAG, but I would say they use our many of our agencies as a conduit to do the actual resettlement work. And so we have a lot of collaboration. I work with USCCB folks on refugee resettlement frequently, and our agencies are really doing the case management work, which means once a family arrives, they're picking them up at the airport. They are bringing them to their temporary housing or their new apartments, and then setting them up to go to school for the kids, or finding housing in general, and things like that. So really kind of getting situated as they begin their new life here in the United States.
So these are, I think the number I read, I think there was like 74,000 who have been evacuated to the United States from Afghanistan, and I think I read approximately like 40,000 of those 74,000, about 40,000 have been moved from a base, an army base, I guess it was, and then moved into communities, and there's like about 30,000 remaining on army bases throughout the country. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I'd have to check the numbers. They change regularly every week, but there is certainly an effort to get folks into their new communities, which is a challenge. I can't
imagine.
deny that. Our agencies are doing incredible work in finding housing for a large population, and so I think going into the next couple of months, there's definitely a challenge ahead of resettling everyone, because the number is just so large.
And these are families, by and large, they're families, a couple kids, I would imagine, from one to I don't know how many children, and they probably did they speak any English at all? Are they familiar at all with where they are or what's happening to them?
Sure, it depends. They are an SIV recipient family. That more than likely means they have very good English-speaking skills because they did translation work in Afghanistan for our military, and so it's the full range. People who were able to evacuate and are really starting over in their new life because they were able to get out of the country. It really is across the gamut, but of the Afghans I've met personally, their English has been incredibly good. And I think depending on it's going to vary for each family.
Is there a place in the United States where they tend to go? I think we've seen in the past, like, there's pockets of like Somalians up in Minnesota, and other populations have come over here. They settle in those pockets of Ethiopians, I think, in the D.C. area. So are they just all over the country, or they tend to migrate towards a couple different places?
Certainly, the media has reported Sacramento and the D.C. area are major destination areas because there are communities there already that exist.
Right.
So, like you say, if a community exists, there's an interest to go there. But there's also, if folks have a point of contact in the United States, whether that be a U.S. citizen or another family member, that's also of interest of where they're going to go. So, as you would expect, if you have family, if you have a connection to a certain town or area because you know someone, there's a desire to go there. So those U.S. point of contacts are all across the country, and our agencies, we fully expect, we've kind of prepared our agencies with some webinars of how they can prepare, because we do anticipate they will encounter Afghan arrival work in one way or the other.
And I know, because in particular, Catholic Charities in the Rockford Diocese here, and to a degree in Chicago, I think as well, have been, I know in Rockford in particular, that they have been interested in taking various refugees from all over the world in the past. I've been to a couple of their events out there. And so you primarily work with Catholic Charities agencies sort of on the ground all across the country. So they're really the people that, I think what you're saying is your role is to kind of facilitate getting them to the case management. And so does the local Catholic Charities agency kind of take it from there in coordination with other not-for-profit groups?
Correct. So the VOLAGs, the volunteer agencies, such as USCCB, are the ones who work directly with the U.S. State Department, and then they use our agencies as a conduit to do that work. And so, like I mentioned, we do a lot of connected work with the refugee resettlement folks at USCCB. We help with providing essentially whatever our agencies ask help for. And so, particularly for the Afghan arrivals, we've been very fortunate to have a relationship with Airbnb for temporary housing. And so, as these folks are coming off the base, they're either going to end up in a hotel room for an extended stay, or Airbnb has been a fantastic organization in providing temporary housing for these families. So, as you can imagine, 30 days in a hotel is fine, but if you can have a home, it's a different feel. And so, for these large families, having more space is a better accommodation. And so we've been providing help with our agencies on that, trying to get them connected with Airbnbs, and then providing other assistance wherever we can.
It's interesting. The story I think I was reading over the weekend, it did mention Airbnb being a vital player in trying to help provide places for these refugees to live. And it was interesting. They also mentioned Starbucks as being an employer and offering jobs to many of the people seeking employment, as well as CVS. So it's sort of interesting to see how private companies are really stepping up to help people, and it's nice to read that especially this time of the year, that maybe there's just so many job openings that this kind of serves a need for them. But it's kind of nice to see that that many companies stepping up to help people who really need it.
Yep, it's been great. The Afghan arrivals are eligible for employment authorization, so they're ready to get working once they have that. And it really has been kind of inspiring to see the entire nation respond to this. I can't tell you at the beginning when the evacuations were happening, large swaths of the community were providing assistance to these families. They wanted to help. They wanted to contribute. And that's really kind of spilled over, I think, with these companies who are really helping our efforts in giving these families what they need to start their new lives. So it does make you proud to see that.
That's great. As we were talking here, the producers are scrolling your website, and it has on the Catholic Charities USA website a page about immigration refugee services. And just in closing, Chris, is there like a website that you want to give to people to help them donate, or if they, whatever services you coordinate, is there a good website to provide to individuals if they're willing to help?
Yeah, so you're welcome to look at our page, CatholicCharitiesUSA.org. We, as I said, are helping all of our agencies across the country as needs arise. But I also recommend you look at your local Catholic Charities agency,
right,
and contact them because they probably do have a website up as well on what their needs are, volunteer opportunities, things like that. So we take it from the national perspective, but
right,
definitely would recommend you looking at the local perspective too.
Yeah, I think one of the things you said was interesting too is just one more thought. I think you were saying that 74,000 individuals are here, but I think there's like 60,000 more that are still in Afghanistan who could be coming over eventually in that next wave or something like that. So it looks like there's been a lot of great work done. But it looks like the demand will continue over the next, what are we in 2022 next year, that this is going to be something that we're going to be dealing with for quite a while.
Yep, there are still Afghans in other countries. They're also on other army bases called, they're calling them lily pad countries, where they're awaiting their entry into the U.S. But the work certainly is going to be here for a while, and I'm proud of that with Catholic Charities. Even if it's not on the front pages anymore, we're still doing that work because it's important work and these families need help.
Great. Chris, thanks for taking some time this morning. Really appreciate it, and we'll keep talking about this and make people aware about it, and we wish you a Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Thank you. You too. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Great. Thanks. That's Christopher Ross. He is a Vice President of Migration and Refugee Resettlement Services with Catholic Charities USA. Don't call back. Don't go away. We'll be right back. We're going to be talking to Stephen Jacobs. He's the program director for Illinois Right to Life. We'll talk a little bit about the recent Supreme Court discussion on the DOBBS case. We'll be right back.
As you think about year-end contributions, we at Catholic Charities thank you for considering a donation. 100% of every donation goes directly to our charitable work. Every donation allows us to continue to offer programs and services that affirm, strengthen, and empower those we serve as they work toward becoming self-sufficient. We are financially independent from the Archdiocese of Chicago, and we are proud of our Platinum Guide Star rating as a nonprofit. For more than 100 years, Catholic Charities has been helping homeless, hungry, and troubled neighbors in Cook and Lake counties. We would be honored to have your support in our 2021 year-end appeal. Visit CatholicCharities.net to donate or call 312-948-6087. The number again is 312-948-6087. Thank you for being partners with us in the mission of Catholic Charities.
We are at the Most Blessed Trinity Parish Food Pantry in Waukegan.
And here we care for people in need. There was definitely an uptick in the needs for services.
We doubled our volume after COVID hit, from servicing about 250 families a week to about 500 a week. We supply bread, tortillas, vegetables, milk, cheese, butter, proteins, fish, chicken, eggs.
Well, the annual Catholic Appeal has been a tremendous help to us, especially over the past year and a half.
Without the annual Catholic Appeal, we might have to close our doors. Our parish is the largest one in the Archdiocese, but is very poor. We think about food and we think about nourishment, but we also nourish the soul, provide that connection to humanity.
The good works here are made possible through the annual Catholic Appeal. Make your gift at annualcatholicappeal.com.
At Catholic Charities, we fight hunger in Chicago throughout the year. Our 6 regional offices in Cook and Lake counties work together to offer sit-down and to-go meals to anyone in need. We deliver meals to those who are homebound, and our 8 food pantries offer 3 to 4 days of food supplies based on household size. Participants in these programs have the opportunity to learn about other Catholic charity services that strengthen individuals, families, and their communities. The challenges for those dealing with food insecurity are especially great during the winter months. To learn how you can help those who are hungry in your neighborhood, visit CatholicCharities.net or call 312-655-7525. That's 312-655-7525. Thank you for your generosity.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bob Gilligan of the Catholic Conference of Illinois, and thanks for joining our program here this morning. Our next guest with us is, I was calling him Stephen Jacobs. He's actually a doctor, Dr. Stephen Jacobs. He's the program director with Illinois Right to Life, and hopefully he is on the line with us. Stephen, are you with us? There he is. He is with us.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good to see you. Thanks for taking some time this morning to join us. I don't mean to throw you a curveball here, but we should probably mention that on Friday afternoon, I think it was like at 2 o'clock, our illustrious governor signed the repeal of the Illinois parental notification law. So it's not that it was unexpected. I guess the only thing unexpected was the unexpected, which was I knew he was going to do it at an inopportune time, but Friday afternoon, the week before Christmas is, well, that's pretty much time when nobody's paying attention. So that shows you how popular this thing is. So I don't know. Yeah, you guys saw that, I'm sure. And I think you guys put out a statement saying, thanks. But yeah, I don't know. What are you going to do? So you I'm sure followed the oral arguments on the Dobbs case. Any thoughts, any reflections, any observations?
Yeah, so I'd written about this in a recent Newsweek piece, but my sense was there was enough discussion to give me hope that the court is going to discuss the ways in which things have changed since Roe v. Wade, the decision was issued in 1973, such that the court is not only able to, but is actually required to overturn Roe v. Wade. So this was clear in some of the discussion on safe haven laws.
Yeah.
So whereas in 1973, a woman actually had a legal obligation to raise her child if she couldn't put it up for adoption or find somebody else to raise the child. And today in all 50 states, we have these safe haven laws whereby any young parent can extinguish their relationship to the child. They could give up custody by dropping the child off at a police station or a fire station. So that is just one clear piece of evidence that while in 1973, a woman faced certain detriments associated with child rearing, that, if she became pregnant out of wedlock, she could be fired from her job. There was all these forms of discrimination back then. And we also have laws nowadays, the Pregnancy Non-Discrimination Act, we have Family Medical Leave Act. There's just a litany of different pieces of legislation as well as government programs that have ameliorated the concerns of unwanted child rearing.
Yeah.
So that's just one clear piece of evidence that if in 1973 those laws were in place, they wouldn't have issued that decision. And based on Supreme Court precedent, if a precedent is no longer justified by the original decision's justifications, then that's cause for overturning the precedent.
Yeah, it's interesting. You're citing that Amy Coney Barrett argument that I think that she put forth on the safe haven reality that existed. It didn't exist, in 1973, which I never really thought of, but I think that is a very effective argument. We'll see how this plays out. I'm assuming late June we'll probably get this decision right before. They always save the most controversial ones towards the end, and I think they have a self-imposed deadline of releasing these opinions before June 30th. I think it is. So I'm sure that last week of June is going to be fun. Let's talk about. Let's say you're right. I hope you're right. And Roe falls. Let's say we get a decision where the assumption that many of us think they'll just put it back to the states. States decide. Federal government's kind of out of it. You guys all figure it out. What does a post-Roe world look like? Because part of me is optimistic, but part of me is also very concerned about that. State like Illinois, we really have no protections for the unborn that I can think of. Maybe there are some, but I can't think of any. So I suppose we could even go more the other way with like what California's proposing, these abortion sanctuary laws where they'll pay your plane tickets and everything to have an abortion here in Illinois. That concerns me. But what do you think is going to happen nationally? I don't know. I'm not so sure about this. Some of my colleagues in states where I think we're in pretty good shape are concerned about it. Others, I'm not sure. What do you think a post-Roe world looks like after we get the original, hair on fire, the world's going to end for about what? It's going to last for a couple of weeks. I'm sure the media is going to lose its mind if what the scenario you and I are laying out comes into fruition.
Yeah, that was certainly what I thought would happen, but there's been such a tepid response to even the Texas law being upheld, the Texas heartbeat law, which is effectively overturned Roe v. Wade in the state of Texas. I actually read a few articles analyzing the media's reaction and the social media reaction. And they were quite perplexed by the fact that most of the discussion has just taken place on the pro-life side, being so happy about this victory. And there just hasn't been the pushback that they were expecting. And I mean, part of it might be that this is just a great moment, given that there are, and when I say a great moment for calmer heads to prevail, right? Cooler heads to prevail. And it's partially because the bandwidth is just taken up by the coronavirus, the economy, everything that's going on with the current president. So I really think that there won't be that moment. But in terms of what will happen after that moment, I think that we're going to see within the coming years, between the trigger laws that will immediately go into effect once Roe is overturned, so abortion bans in I think it might be about a dozen states, but basically within a couple of years, there should be 20 to 30 states that have banned abortion throughout pregnancy. So the real battle that's upcoming is going to be over the abortion pill.
Right, that's where I was going to go.
We recently just saw this, that the FDA lifted the ban such that it can be mailed to women without confirmation of a pregnancy. And I mean, we even saw this, there was a stunt outside the Supreme Court where women were purportedly taking abortion pills just to supposedly show how safe they are, even though they weren't pregnant. And when we see these studies coming out, like the Charlotte Logier Institute is publicizing a study that showed that there's a much higher incidence of hospital visits as well as deaths associated with the abortion pill than even the traditional surgical abortion method. And that a lot of these get miscoded as miscarriages versus abortions. So, I mean, we've seen this in abortion reporting for decades, the misreporting, but supposedly it's even worse when it comes to the abortion pill. So I think, and this had been predicted in the Washington Post a few years back, that if abortion becomes illegal, that it'll just be a battle over the abortion pill, which means that this will become more akin to the drug wars that we've seen over the previous decade. That we will not see abortion clinics, legal abortion clinics like we once did before Roe, but rather it'll just be a fight over the abortion pills being, sent across state lines, even across the ocean, ordering them from China. And
that's what I hear. India apparently is a big producer of these.
Oh, yeah.
So, Steve, that's an interesting supposition. So, does that kind of put us right back to square one in some ways, where we are advocating for life and the rights of the unborn child and to not take those pills and that kind of thing? I'm just thinking like how this plays out. Women who become pregnant are still going to be in that situation where some of them are fearful, they're concerned, they feel that they're alone. They fear instead of calling the clinic, then they're going to call the drug company. So are we just kind of like still doing the same thing, but maybe in a different arena, in that trying to reach out to women who are pregnant and vulnerable and how to best reach them?
No, I totally understand your concern. And I think I've gained, now that we face this reality, right? It was so important to get to the moment of overturning Roe. I mean, it's been this 5-foot ceiling right above our heads in terms of our ability to protect women, to protect unborn children. And now that we're actually at that moment, now we have to do the hard part of, okay, well, what are we going to do with this opportunity to actually save lives? So let's start by saying it's a miracle that this is happening. And if it does get overturned, I like I said, I gain new appreciation for those who say we can't just change the law. We need to change hearts and minds. We need to change the culture, right?
Right.
Now, I personally think the law, and when I say personally, a lot of people say this, but the law is teacher. So by virtue of it becoming illegal, there will be far fewer women who will seek abortions. Full stop. even if these illegal abortion pills are readily available, even if nobody is arrested for consuming them, for distributing them, there will be many women who would have gotten an abortion before Roe who will not get an abortion after Roe. So let's just start there. By virtue of these abortion laws, I think most people are law-abiding citizens, even in difficult scenarios. The fact that there's already a thrust for a mother to want to keep her child, and there are enough women who are already making difficult choices. I think that group will just grow. So I think that even with this black market of abortion pills, there will be, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of lives saved. But in terms of how do we actually address that, I mean, this is what's difficult. It comes down to what you think the role of federal government should be. So, are you comfortable with more of a nanny state with heavily policing? Do you support the drug wars, or do you see it as once there's a substance, it's impossible to stop people from taking it? So, I mean, this is kind of above our pay grade. We so far have been human rights advocates and activists. We're not so much those who are trying to figure out how to enforce laws. That's a second step. So I think we don't even know where this is going to go. I mean, we can have a general thrust, but it's going to be a brave new world, and it's going to be important for us to fight out against the misinformation from the pro-abortion lobby. And, not to name check somebody, but none so bad as Dr. Daniel Grossman. So this is an abortion doctor who is a public advocate for, now the politically correct term is self-managed abortions. So I saw this the moment Roe v. Wade was threatened. The rhetoric changed from the abortion lobby. Whereas they used to say, we need Roe because it's dangerous for women to perform abortions on themselves. The moment they saw that Roe was about to fall, they changed the narrative to say, how can you not trust women to manage their own abortions? That was what one abortion doctor said to me on Twitter. And I said, we just spent decades debating about how dangerous it is for women to take abortion care into their own hands. And now you're saying it's paternalistic and that it's dangerous to not allow women to manage their own abortions, even though we know, all you have to do is see the movie Unplanned with Abby
That's
Johnson.
What I keep thinking about.
Yeah, how difficult that experience is. And I liked your point about, California, these supposed sanctuary state. Illinois has already made efforts like that. So I remember a couple of years ago, there was a hotel chain that offered free rooms to women who were coming to Illinois for abortions. And Kelly Cassidy, she actually proposed legislation whereby there would be a fund created from Illinois taxpayer funds to have people come into our state for their abortions. And
I think we'll see that. I do. I think we'll see
there's
that.
No doubt.
Right.
We've already seen billboards at our state border with other neighboring states saying, come to Illinois for your abortions.
Well, so the governor wrote a letter to major corporations in Texas asking them to relocate because of these great abortion laws, which makes no sense to me, whatever.
You can't get businesses to come otherwise.
So come here to help eliminate your future customers. That makes a lot of sense. Steve, I got to run. Really interesting. Yeah, you're making me think. And I'm kind of very intrigued by this. Like, where is this going from here? And I think a lot of us are kind of grappling with that now that, like you said, it's finally here. I think. Well, let's hope it's here. We don't know that for certain, but we feel good about our chances. But now the question is, what does this all mean, and how do we do it? But I agree with your point about the law being the teacher. That is true. That is a very good point, and it's good to keep in mind when you start getting in this sort of like, what does this all mean moment? And I think that's what we're all grappling with. Steve, thanks so much for taking some time this morning. Merry Christmas to you and your family. I hope you're well, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon in the next couple months and years ahead. Great. Thank you.
Great.
All
God
right.
bless.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to kind of continue with the same subject in some ways. We're going to talk to Kevin Grillo. He is the director of We Dignify, and they're going to have a March for Life in Chicago. I think it's January 8th, and he'll be talking to us about that. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Catholic Charities has continued to respond to the needs of people who come to us for assistance. More than 850,000 meals and food parcels have been offered to those who are struggling with food insecurity. Over 108,000 homelessness prevention hotline calls have been answered. Over 22,000 people have received mental health services, and $2 million in financial assistance has been provided to keep people housed. If you or someone you know needs assistance, email us at gethelp@catholiccharities.net. That's gethelp@catholiccharities.net. Or call 312-655-7700. That's 312-655-7700. Before, during, and after COVID-19, Catholic Charities is here for you.
I am a seminarian.
The church needs compassionate and well-trained priests to help guide each of us through life.
What inspires me, what draws me always to the priesthood is continue to see priests be a beacon of hope for other people.
You can play a part in the education of these young men as they prepare for a life of service to others.
I want to be that beacon of hope too, and it sets my heart on fire.
To support our seminarians, make your gift at archchicago.org/seminarian fund or call 312-534-7959.
The cemetery ministry is a core ministry of our Catholic faith tied to the corporal works of mercy. It's comforting to know that our Catholic cemeteries are caring for the remains of our loved ones awaiting the resurrection. There are 44 Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic cemeteries willing to help you in your time of loss. Call 708-449-6100 or visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org. Catholic Cemeteries, serving the Catholic community since 1837.
You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bob Gilligan of the Catholic Conference of Illinois, and thank you for taking some time to join our program, listen to our program here this morning. You could watch it or listen to it. On the line with us, we hope we have Kevin Grillo. He is the executive director of We Dignify, and we have him live in person. Isn't this wonderful? Wow, that's great. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Bob, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Great. Sounds good. We can see you. This is too good to be true. So Kevin is the, what is your title? Executive Director of a group called We Dignify. But we're talking mostly about We Dignify's role in the March for Life. Tell us about the March for Life coming up in Chicago, or in Illinois, really. Or in the Midwest, maybe, I should say.
What a beautiful growth that's happened, that it used to be talking about just Chicago, then Illinois, and then now marching across the Midwest. So we oversee leading students on campus, but then also the March for Chicago. And this is coming up just days away. It's going to come very fast. We have New Year's. Obviously, Christmas is right around the corner, New Year's. And then on January 8th, thousands of people are preparing to return to downtown Chicago to march. And we are expecting people as far away from, right now, a group just registered coming from Detroit, Michigan, as well as all the way over to Sioux City, Iowa. So this has really become hundreds of miles away. People are coming to Chicago, to the March for Chicago, in just less than 3 weeks away.
And yeah, Kevin has the unique, enviable position of promoting an event like that happens right after Christmas and right after New Year's. So it's really kind of an interesting sort of promo opportunity we have like right now, right here this week. Tell us a little bit about, it's not only the March. So the March is the big event, and that starts when, on January 8th?
Sure, this has become what used to be, I mean, Bob, in 2013, there were 150 of us on a sidewalk.
Right.
And it was tiny. And then in the last 8-9 years, things have exploded and really increased a lot with growth to where 9,000 people were flooding the streets in 2020. If you can imagine a lot of people together in 2020, this was in January of 2020,
right.
So things changed. And so it's now grown into an entire weekend experience where we have a lot of people arriving Friday night, staying at the Hilton right on Michigan Avenue, where there's like a room block rate and a really affordable opportunity there, because Saturday morning is an entire convention with over 45 organizations having booths and exhibitors. We have then educational breakouts have been added this year. So at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you can go to a breakout with expert speakers, whether you're wondering about what kind of Illinois law impacts the Midwest, whether you're wondering how to reverse an abortion pill, or maybe you're wondering about the sex ed bill that's going into implementation next summer. You can actually hear from Bob on that one.
That's
right?
That's the best one I've heard. That's what I've heard. Right.
You hear the speaker for that is very unique.
Right.
And so these are all happening in the morning. And then people are going from the Hilton, which is just 720 South Michigan Avenue, and they're walking over to Federal Plaza, 50 West Adams. And it's a short 15-minute walk. That is where the rally is at. The rally starts at 1 p.m. and then we are marching immediately following, and the route then goes through the city a little bit and then down Michigan Avenue for high visibility and back to the Hilton. So and then the Hilton after, that's about 3 o'clock, and then there's more convention. There's a Mass for Life, which Bishop Bartosik is saying.
Great.
There is there's a banquet that evening. This is really a jam-packed weekend. But it's because people not only come to march and show a public witness, but are bringing hundreds of people to learn and grow and serve.
You know, our last speaker was Steve Jacobs from Illinois Right to Life, and we were talking a little bit about the impact of the DOBBS hearing the other day from the U.S. Supreme Court. And so there's a lot of energy around the possibility that Roe might fall. In a couple months here. We were also talking about the unfortunate news we got on Friday of the governor signing the repeal of the Illinois parental notification law. So there's a lot going on right now in the pro-life world, and there's some things to be optimistic about, and there's some things we need to continue working on. But, these types of events that like Kevin has put on and the rally that's been going on for years, that's growing and growing and growing, even though we're in Illinois, which is not really a bastion of pro-life laws, we still see the fruits of those activities in other states and all across the country. Because what Steve was saying earlier is what we want to try to do is to continue to change the culture. To get it to a level such that abortion is not even like on somebody's radar screen when they're pregnant. And so, yes, it's true that maybe politically we have some losses here in Illinois, but what We Dignify and all these other groups are doing as they get together and they march in the streets is they're a public witness to that eventuality of that. There's a lot of people that want to help change the culture. And because we may lose politically, that doesn't mean there's a heck of a lot of people how many people are in Illinois? The 13 million people that don't agree with us. They do. And I think when they see people walking in the streets, that's an affirmation of where they are too. So it's a good thing to participate in. Starts at 1 o'clock. The march starts at 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
but
the rally is right at 1 o'clock at Federal Plaza.
Right.
And
but you really would like to do is have people participate in any or all of the activities that you have going on. And if you're not from the area, you just want to stay down there, the room rate is still available at the Hilton. Is that the case?
Yeah, until December 29th, you have a $99 room rate. So it's
how much?
For downtown Chicago, just $99 a night.
Yeah. Wow. That is good.
It's we're very excited to have that, because what people have found, they want to march and inspire, but you're right, Bob, people want to do more. Mm-hmm. And you can shape the culture. Last year we did a massive diaper drive, and we're bringing that back to raise 5,695 boxes of diapers that people are bringing to the convention, and we'll distribute to pregnancy resource centers. So this is a tangible way to learn, serve, as well as march.
Yeah. I think you've done a really good job in those educational sessions of giving people a lot of options on what they could attend in terms of educating themselves further or getting direction about what issues are out there, and how to get more engaged if they want to get engaged, or just simply learn, which would build on activity in the future. So there's a lot going on, starting really, well, you check in Friday night if you want, start Saturday morning with some of those education sessions, and then you can participate in the rally. And then you said, Kevin, there's after the rally, the march that goes from Federal Plaza back to the Hilton, and then there's more activities there that night as well. You said then there's the Mass on Saturday night.
Yes, and the Mass is at 4 p.m. on Saturday, so it does count for your Sunday obligation as well, digital Mass.
And you have a website and everything that lays this all out. And what is that website if people need further information?
marchforlifechicago.org.
Okay, marchforlifechicago.org. And it's not only, like I said, don't think that title is a little misleading, because it's not just it's a March for Life in Chicago, but it's really for the entire state. And like you said, I mean, it's kind of for the whole Midwest.
Well, I think, yeah, absolutely, because Chicago, unfortunately, as a county, it performs more abortions than any other county in the Midwest. Illinois alone performs more abortions than each and every state it neighbors combined. So the problem is right in Chicago, it's right in Illinois, and then it's impacting lives across the Midwest, because regional abortion clinics are open in Illinois and then reaching and attracting people from out of state. So this is our opportunity, and people are responding from out of state and across the Midwest in a way that we have not seen before, that we've done a massive job to promote and spread the word in the last 3 or 4 years. And the Midwest is responding because we are rooted in a lot of family. Right. Midwest cares about our neighbor and our community, and we recognize the impact that you can't just say, oh, that's in Illinois, we don't have to worry about that. We have people, you can't just say that's in Chicago, we don't have to worry about that. We have neighbors right next to us that care about the lives and are coming. And they're bringing groups. A lot of youth groups are coming. There's a youth rally in the morning on Saturday morning as well at the convention. People want to continue the education, continue to learn, and continue to shape the lives, because each breakout is actually centered around what can you do when you go back home.
Right, exactly.
That's one of the things that we're excited for everyone, and thousands of people are coming, but everyone has a responsibility when they go off from marching to be that witness and also to serve right in their community. So we're giving people an opportunity to get equipped to do that, because you're right, to change a culture, you have to go from a person to a community, and then several communities together can start changing culture.
The website again is WeDignify.org
is for the overall organization, but if you're checking out details for January 8th, which is coming up fast, you want to go to marchforlifechicago.org.
marchforlifechicago.org. It's Saturday, January 8th. Starts in the morning. The march, like I said, is 1 o'clock, and then there's other activities in the afternoon. And so you don't have the excuse of you have to stay home and watch a Bears playoff game, because you don't have anything to worry about there. They're not in the playoffs. So there's no reason to come out. And so far, the weather's been good. Let's hope that stays. You never know about January 8th. It could be good, could be bad. But so far, we've been doing pretty well. So people will come out regardless of the weather. Kevin, thanks for taking some time this morning. Really good event. Hope everybody goes and participates in it. And you know how to get a part of the March for Life Chicago. And looking forward to a really successful event. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks so much, Bob.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Don't go, everybody. We'll be right back. We're going to come back and talk about the scholarship tax credit. Talk about how to donate to it. It's a very successful program that's been around for a couple of years now. So let's see. We will have Marguerite Zappa talking about it with us in about 2 minutes. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Catholic Charities Veterans Employment Services help veterans find and maintain employment through job readiness training, resume writing assistance, mock interviews, and job placement counseling. We work with a wide array of employers and community partners to help veterans reach their career goals. We owe a debt of gratitude to all of our veterans for the sacrifices they made to serve our nation. It is our privilege now to assist them. To learn more about Catholic Charities Veterans Employment Program in Cook County, call 773-808-2954. In Lake County, call 847-782-4219. You can also learn more at CatholicCharities.net. To all United States veterans, thank you for your service.
Welcome back.
Es fabuloso verlos.
Dobrze jest znowu być razem.
It's good to be together again.
After so many months apart, pandemic capacity limits have been lifted, and we want to welcome everyone back to church. We can all pray together again. And listen as our choirs lift their voices in song.
We've been together in spirit.
And now, when you are ready, our doors are open wide.
Nuestras puertas están abiertas de par en par.
Nasze drzwi są otwarte.
And we're here to welcome you back to Catholic Mass.
Catholic Charities in Lake County provides a comprehensive range of social services supporting individuals, families, and older adults. These include crisis assistance, shelter, clothing, family support, counseling, legal assistance, primary health care, and specialized services for seniors and veterans. Grab-and-go meals and food pantries help those who are experiencing food insecurity. Plus, we have a diaper depot to support low-income families and their infants. If we can assist you or someone you know, please call Catholic Charities of Lake County at 847-782-4000. That's 847-782-4000.
I feel special. I feel great. I got good grades.
We've seen a huge surge in our kids now meeting or exceeding grade level. Come check us out. You may have never thought we were an option before.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bob Gilligan of the Catholic Conference of Illinois, and thanks for joining our program here this morning. In the last segment, we want to talk a little bit about the Scholarship Tax Credit Program. I think most listeners, viewers know about this program that was passed back in 2017. I can still hear that music. All right. We're going to talk a little bit about the Scholarship Tax Credit Program that was passed back in 2017, and it's an excellent program in that it does afford the opportunity for a middle to low income family to earn a scholarship to hopefully attend a non-public school of their choice. The program has been running successfully now for I think we're in our fourth year or fifth year. And, well, quite frankly, the program runs off donations, and we need individuals to donate to it, but there is a strong incentive to donate to it. The best way to find out about that is to go. There are two major scholarship granting organizations that the Archdiocese and the 5 other Catholic dioceses interact with. They are, number one, Big Shoulders Foundation, which I'm sure that many listeners and viewers have heard of. They've been around for decades now, raising money to provide scholarships for low-income kids and their families. And secondly is a newer scholarship granting organization. It's called Empower Illinois. Both are excellent organizations. You can go to their websites, both of them. You can Google Empower or Big Shoulders. Information will come up on your computer, and it'll show you how to donate to these. Now, here's the key. It's a better program to donate to in terms of the potential money you get back than just about any other program you can find. Because every dollar that you donate, you can get up to 75 cents back in terms of a tax credit. So there's a good incentive to do so. All that money that's raised, well, nearly all of that money will go to afford a scholarship to a family. And there's now in Illinois been about $60 million raised each year. I think we have currently about 5,000 students on scholarship. But the frustrating part for those of us who are familiar with the program is that we still have more room to grow. We have many more scholarships, people applying than we're able to give. So we desperately want your help to donate to the program. And as I indicated earlier, this is definitely the time to do so, because if you do so today, I feel like somebody on a telethon right now, there's a matching program, and individuals have stepped up, and so for every dollar that you donate will be matched by another dollar. So it's an excellent way to help kids who are in disadvantaged situations, who really want to attend a school of their choice. And the best way to do it is to donate, like I said, to Empower Illinois and to Big Shoulders Illinois. And another incentive for this program, if I can, is just you can also earmark your contribution. So if you have a particular affinity to a Catholic school or another non-public school, you can earmark those donations specifically to that school. And if you don't know which school to donate to, you can just put it in the general pot, and those people who administer funds will distribute it to those most needy. Or if you want to you want to earmark those funds to a particular diocese, you can do so. If you're in the Rockford Diocese, Joliet Diocese, you can make sure the money goes there. So there's really no reason to do this, especially now. Here we approach the end of the year. Some people are looking at their tax contributions as we get to December 31st of 2021. And so it's a better time as any to make sure that people are able to attend a scholarship school of their choice. So I hear the music. It's probably time to wrap up. This is Bob Gilligan. Thank you to all our guests this morning. Thanks to Steve Jacobs from Illinois Rights Life about the excellent conversation about the DOBBS decision. Kevin Grillo from We Dignify. Please come out on January 8th. And finally, to Christopher Ross from Catholic Charities USA. This is Bob Gilligan. This is the last show of the year. We'll be back in 2022 for 12 more shows. We're doing once a month on the third Monday of the month. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Have a Merry Christmas, great New Year, and wonderful and prosperous 2022.